The Minnesota Vikings gave their quarterback room a serious shakeup on Sunday, making two big moves within just a few hours. First, they decided to part ways with Sam Howell, sending him to the Philadelphia Eagles. Then, almost immediately after, they brought in a familiar name, Carson Wentz. Let's start with the trade. Minnesota shipped Howell and a 2026 sixth-round pick to Philadelphia in exchange for a 2026 fifth-rounder plus a seventh-round selection in 2027. It's not a blockbuster deal, but it does shuffle draft capital and, more importantly, quarterbacks between the two teams. Both organizations quickly confirmed the move after NFL Network's Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero first reported it. For Howell, this is becoming something of a theme. He's been traded 3 times since March 2024. Once the Commanders' 17-game starter, Howell's fall has been swift. Washington dealt him to the Seahawks, where he barely saw the field, appearing in just 2 games last season. Then Seattle flipped him to Minnesota during the 2024 draft. 4 months later, he's packing his bags again, this time heading to Philly. That's a lot of movement in less than a year for a guy who once looked like a long-term starter. As for the Eagles, the timing of the move makes sense. Their backup QB Tanner McKee recently fractured the top of his thumb, which puts his Week 1 availability in doubt. Reports suggest the Eagles would have gone after Howell even without McKee's injury, but this just made the decision easier. While McKee is still considered the long-term number 2 behind Jalen Hurts, Howell gives the Eagles an experienced option who can slide right into the backup role. Howell didn't exactly light things up in Minnesota. He finished the preseason with 118 passing yards, completing 12 of 18 throws but tossing an interception along the way. His last outing in purple was especially rough. He went just 1-for-5 for 13 yards and threw that pick. It's not surprising the Vikings decided to move on. That brings us to Wentz. The former number 2 overall pick and longtime NFL journeyman is getting another shot, this time in Minnesota. The Vikings agreed to terms with him shortly after Howell was shipped out. Once one of the league's rising stars in Philadelphia, Wentz has bounced around in recent years, suiting up for the Colts, Commanders, and Rams. He'll now have a chance to back up, and potentially push, whoever ends up starting in Minnesota. For the Vikings, this is about stability and experience. Wentz has been around the league, he's played in big games, and while his career hasn't gone the way many expected, he still brings a veteran presence to a QB room that desperately needed clarity. For the Eagles, the move is about insurance. Jalen Hurts is obviously the franchise cornerstone, but having a reliable number 2 matters in today's NFL. Howell may not be the most exciting name, but he's young, he's played meaningful snaps, and he could step in if needed. So in one busy Sunday, Minnesota reshaped its quarterback depth chart, while Philadelphia added some much-needed depth behind Hurts. Howell's well-traveled NFL journey continues, and Wentz gets yet another opportunity to prove he still belongs.